great. Yeah.
Sorry, let me just go grab my
$100?
cash from my money tree.
Hang on a second, I know a leprechaun who has a pot of gold. He lives at the end of my street.
Maybe I'll go to a bank and say, hello, do I have an account here?
Call Donald Trump.
How do 3 men in their 30s not have $800 between them?
Hello and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey chapter 180. It is the second day of the week, aka the Quadzilla workout. I am on my way to the gym right now. I'm feeling pretty alright. My knee kind of hurts a little bit, but nothing too crazy that a warm-up can't fix. So, on the way to the gym right now. I'm very happy right now. I'm very excited. Feeling alright. Nothing too crazy. The week's been good so far to me. So, today's subject matter comes because of a thing that happened while I was sick. It was just something, a subject matter that popped up a couple of times in life randomly. And that is financial literacy, aka, do you know what you're doing with your money? It is something that surprisingly isn't taught in schools and also is surprisingly emotion-based. I know money is just a math problem, but most of the time it's not just a math problem, unfortunately. As you have people, I was literally watching a short right before this where the lady said, spending money makes me feel good. So there's a whole other discussion there with materialism and all that other stuff, but today we're going to just talk about the financial literacy, aka, are you smart with your money? Do you know where your money is going? All that other stuff. This sounds like an advertisement for like Rocket Mortgage or some shit like that. It's not. I'm not sponsored by anybody. But anyways, the main reason why I wanted to talk about this was because this came up in a couple of conversations randomly. So I wanted to talk about it because it was just something that is interesting that basically, I'm going to spell it out at the beginning and then go dive into it because I feel like that'll be a little bit more interesting. But if you don't know how to handle your money when you have no money, when you have a lot of money, you're not going to be able to handle all that money. Money handling is a behavioral thing. It's not a mathematical thing, because you'll see a bunch of people who all of a sudden go from a alright paying job to a holy shit, I'm getting a shitload of money job, and they're still broke. Why is that? And that's because it isn't such a simple math problem. It's a behavioral problem. And it's something where if you're not good with that behavior when you have little money, it doesn't matter how much you're going to get. It doesn't matter if you're a multimillionaire. If you're shit with the money when you first get it, you're going to be shit with your money after you get it. It's one of those things that you have to establish early whenever you get your money before, or even go get the money before, and then later just extend that over and don't let lifestyle creep up on you and change your entire lifestyle just because you're making more money. Now, the modality is that more money should make your life easier, not more luxurious. It should make it luxurious in the sense that it saves you time, not necessarily that it saves you effort, because sometimes putting in a little bit more effort to save a little bit more money is how you make the dollar continue. So it is interesting that no matter what, it doesn't matter if you're not good with your money when you're having little. It doesn't matter if you're gonna be broke and then you think more money's gonna solve everything. It's not. You have to make do with what you got and then establish all the stuff there, and then once you get more, you know what to do so you can keep more of it. I think that entire idea flies over the head of a lot of people because they don't realize that they only see one side of the picture, which is the mathematical issue, which is hey, if I make more money, then my issues will be solved. But no, because the issues are embedded deeper within than just the money problem. Yes, that is an issue. I'm not going to say it's not, because it is an issue. But it's like looking at one side of the coin while not looking at the other. It's like training your entire front part of your body and neglecting your back. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there and isn't super fucking important for the other part of it. So that's the reason why I like to just talk about this, because this is something that I don't know why isn't taught more often in schools and stuff. I have my suspicions, but maybe we'll get about that on the inside. But for now, I just want to say this. When was the last time you thought about your financial literacy? Have you thought, am I broke? Am I not broke? You know, when was the last time you were like, all right? When was the last time you said, I have too much money? Actually, no one's ever said that. Nobody in the history of the world has ever said that. So there is that. But still, regardless, till you're at that point, you should worry a little bit about the money. But even then, there is a certain point where it stops becoming a numbers problem and it starts becoming a a behavioral problem, and you need to realize that. The sooner you realize that, the better you realize that. So we'll talk more about details and all this other stuff because there's a lot to unpack in this episode. It might even be a part 1 of 2. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But we'll talk more about it on the inside. So started this day off with squats, which were pretty nice. But anyway, back to the main subject matter. Financial literacy, aka do you know what your money is doing for you? I want to say personal experience-wise, I've always been on top of my money, mostly because of the outside examples of other people that have been not so good with money. Not to point any fingers here, but those who know. But anyways, regardless, it is still something that now that I'm making money from a job, not amazing, but still all right. I've established the right amount of self-control that has made it so that now that I have a job and now that I can make money in a good state, things are a lot easier right now. I am working slowly my way out of my personal debts here that I've accumulated after not having a job for so fucking long, but I'm getting there. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that society hasn't been a factor in the lack of financial awareness people have. I mean, the amount of commercials there are for credit cards and all these other things that are in the air, plus materialistic items and all these other things, status symbols, the cost of living exponentially going up, student debt, regular debt, car debt, house debt, living expenses, just a whole bunch of stuff all accumulating together to make it so people don't actually know what's going on, plus don't understand what an interest rate is. So I'm not gonna bag on people too much because it is a very complicated thing and isn't something that is necessarily shown in school. It is kind of, but people aren't paying attention really. If you ask them to talk about it, the kids were gonna get like 50-50 about it. They kind of don't care, and it's math, so they're like, fuck it, I'll figure it out on my own. But realistically, we should probably do a little bit more to establish a few things for younger people, because realistically, they don't know shit. And I don't want to harp on society too much, because realistically, there are a whole lot of factors that lead into the financial illiteracy really becoming a thing, like lifestyle creep and a whole other slew of things. But I would like to talk about something that I was thinking about earlier today, even though this video was recorded a long time ago, that does affect this, and that is the fact that most money now is all digital. That has become an issue slightly, because now that people just see a number on the screen really, and they don't really physically see the money. And I think that that was a huge deal. I think seeing your entire paycheck in your hand in cash really would make it so you'd be a little bit smarter with your money. Now, obviously, things are not going to go back to cash, even though there are laws that are trying to make it so places will accept cash for people, because there are some places that went cashless, but they're not allowing that anymore, which I don't really care either way or the other, because for me, this doesn't affect me as much, but I understand it. But I also feel like cash has been thrown to the wayside, because digital money is very easy to just kind of like forget, you know, it just becomes a number. Physical cash money, if you give somebody $1,000, even in today's economy, which isn't that much money unfortunately nowadays, but still, if you give them $1,000 in cash, they're gonna be hard pressed to keep it a little bit more. They're gonna feel the weight of the stack growing less and less as they go purchase dumb things with that $1,000. You know, the weight of a sandwich or a meal is gonna start feeling more and more than just the swipe of a card will ever really experience, because the card stays the same weight regardless. And there's that one like little bit of closing your eyes and hopefully it doesn't get declined thing. I've been there. I think it's happened to many people before, whether it be credit cards or debit cards, regardless. But still, I just wanted to make this episode really to just talk about this, maybe introduce the idea of financial literacy, and, you know, maybe make a few episodes in the future talking about the facts that, hey, maybe you could do this or do that, or what am I doing in order to better my life and also have a little bit of money saved up for the future, because I don't want to be working forever, which it seems as though many people are okay with, / the way that society is heading, that you kind of just have to work forever and you're fucked. Also, this doesn't count for my unemployed homies. I get it. I've been there. I get it. Don't worry about it. We're gonna make it, homie. You gotta trust the process. Bitcoin is going to the moon. I get it. What do you mean interest rate? And we're back! Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercises not filmed. Non-exercises skipped. We have one. I had to skip hyperextensions because the hyperextension machine was used right as I was finishing up my forearm work. So I was like, all right, well, it's done. But I got everything else in, so I'm happy about that. But anyways, back to the main subject matter at hand. Financial literacy. I've watched enough YouTube videos in the recent history to know that there are a lot of people out there that have absolutely no idea what their finances are about, and it is astonishing, to say the least. When I used to not make that much money, when I had a very, very low-paying part-time job, it wasn't that low-paying, but still a part-time job where I wasn't making too much money, I was making that shit work as much as I could. I established my funds early because I knew that the moment that I would actually be making more money, the finances would work perfectly in my favor, which currently they are. They are actually working in my favor in all steps, forms, and fashions. Now, do I have some advantages because of this? A little bit, because I can do some things that other people can't do. For example, you know, I live at home, so rent is free, so that is a little bit of a bonus. But still, regardless, there are people out there whose rent is zero, but then they're still in debt up until their eyeballs because of X, Y, or Z, and they established it terribly, so they don't even get to leverage that advantage to their own benefit. Instead, they're just fucking themselves. So it is what it is, but you got to understand that most of the time that's what it is, really, is that you have to leverage your positions and do all this other stuff, but that's the number side. This episode isn't about the number side, because there are people that will get that easily, but the numbers don't make sense if you're not making it make sense emotionally and making yourself realize that spending isn't everything. Neither is materialism and all the things that you own. Sometimes staying at home, making a meal at home will save you a few bucks, but in the long run, it'll save you a few pounds around the waist, a little bit of mental clarity, because eating at home will make you think a little bit clearer, and also a little bit wiser, because later on, hey, these $20 that I spent out, I can now spend on something else that's a little bit more important. Maybe a better pair of shoes, or more food that I can eat at home, or something else that may be a little bit more important in somebody else's life that you may give. But that's a whole other story for a whole other day. With that being said, tell me what you think in the comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions about this one. This one's a little bit more of a, I wouldn't say talking down to, but I'm like, wake up, people. If you're not into your finances and knowing what your spending habits are like, be aware of them, because they will fuck you over if you are not. And then it will be a slave to the system forever. If you can escape the matrix as soon as you can, then do it. I hate using that terminology now, but it is what it is. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video with anybody who may or may not like it. I will be back on tomorrow with a new video. Thank you very much for watching. I will catch you on the next one. Keep it heavy. Stay warm out there. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe. Peace.